Today I want to share with you a video talking about different ways to remove items and objects from your images using Lightroom Classic. Over the years, I've worked with many clients where I needed to clean their skin, remove certain objects or items from the background, or simply clean the image so that the main character pops in and the objects are not distracting that visual effect. With current improvements in Lightroom, there is no really need to go and edit it in Photoshop or other applications, unless you're really going into the advanced steps of retouching the skin. I would say that the Lightroom is a one-stop shop for editing and removing the unwanted objects. I'm gonna show you the live workflow on how I process 3 images and what type of tools I'm using to remove certain objects. We'll talk about clone tool, heal tool, remove tool, and specifically remove using Generative AI, which is the new feature from Lightroom. Let's dive right in. So here are my 3 images, and you can see before and after of what the effect's gonna make to the image. So this is after, before. We can see how beautifully we removed the lamppost and the car, and also this poster here and the whole window actually. So this is the first image. The second image, this is before and after, much cleaner. You can see all these extra lights up here. They are very nicely removed. And also the third image, I'm gonna show you how to clean the skin. This is before and after. I'm performing very gentle cleaning of the skin. I'm leaving some of the imperfections to make it look natural. Awesome. Okay, so let's go back to the original image and let me reset this so we can start from scratch. So this is the original look. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how I approach this. And the main 3 tools we're going to use today is the clone tool, the heal tool, and also the remove tool using Generative AI. This is pretty amazing stuff, and we're going to use this a lot. So the first area I'd like to remove is this car. So back in the days, we would use essentially the remove tool without Generative AI. So let's see how that works for us. I'm just going to select it. And you can see that the effect, even if I refresh and try, see if it finds the pattern, it's not ideal. Okay, it's actually very, very poor, I would say. So I'm gonna click on Generative AI, and we're gonna use Generative AI process to analyze the image, analyze the patterns of the background, and try to find the best solution. Now, these are all not that great. This is much better. So what we can do, and what I usually do, I apply this effect, and then I reapply it by reselecting this area once again, because now it's only this tiny area that I need to fix. Again, we have the option to subtract or add another area if I want to, let's say, change this area as well, and I can select multiple locations and apply the Generative AI. Now this requires internet connection. The drawback of this process is that it takes some time, sometimes up to half a minute, so that's not great. But the effect afterwards, as you can see, is pretty decent. Now, am I super happy with this? Absolutely not. I think we can make it even better. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not happy with how these tiles were changed here. I'm going to select this, add, and I'm going to try to nivellate a little bit of the darkness spot in that area. So let it regenerate again. Okay, that's much better. Now sometimes we may need to perform another iteration. What's kind of cool as well is that if I select on that area, I have different variations, so I can see if this option actually looks much better. And here I can see if there's any way that this looks good. So I'm gonna close this. Okay, I'm pretty happy of how this got removed. So I'm gonna move on to another area, and this time we're gonna try to use a standard remove mask without Generative AI. So I want to be trying to select slightly over the borders of the object and see if this works for us. Is it great? It's actually not too bad. This is not too bad. You may need to perform a tiny correction in this area. If I'm very picky, I could try to clean these areas here too, and that doesn't look too bad. Now I'm going to show you how this would work with generative AI. So we're going to remove all these changes and we're going to use generative AI. And if you select the object aware, it's going to try and analyze the object that I'm trying to select. And it's, as you can see, trying to select only the object and just tiny bit over the object. So I'm happy with this selection. Let's see how the generative AI, and this effect is pretty nice, pretty good. Okay, happy days. This lamppost here is also pretty complex, so I'm going to use generative AI once again. So I'm selecting the lamppost. Let's see if the object aware, the selection from object aware is not great. So I want to remove that area, but I want to add a tiny bit of here, and I want to remove this person as well in one go. That looks pretty amazing. Actually, the second variation looks even better. So I'm happy that it brought some wetness to the path here, and it looks pretty solid. Last area I want to clear is this poster. Now I've tried earlier on to replace only the window. This doesn't really work, so we may need to replace and remove the whole window. But let's once again try to use generative AI and see how this is going to work for us. So I'm selecting the window with the poster. It finds the window, it analyzes the object. So I'm happy with the selection, and essentially close the window. So yeah, I'm not super happy about this option. So I'm gonna refine this, and I can add this area here, just initiating actually the full clean of the window. Because I've selected that far, the AI will essentially try to close the wall and clean the whole wall. That's what I'm assuming it's gonna do. Yep, and it did it perfectly. Now we could try to clone maybe another window, but again, this is quite a complex work, so I wouldn't spend too much time on this at this moment. So amazing. So if we look at before and after, we've already cleared quite a lot of stuff, and I'm pretty happy with this look. Now I can apply maybe a preset, one of the presets of mine. This free preset, by the way, is available on my Patreon page. The link is in the description. If you'd like to download this preset for free, go ahead. But essentially, we give it this modern look, and I'm just gonna freshen it up, brighten it up tiny bit, drop the highlights, drop the shadows. I want a little bit of that contrast on the floor. Just gonna add this up. Clarity, I'm not too worried, and I'm just gonna add vignette here. Tiny vignette. You could play a little bit more, but I'm gonna leave it like that. And let's look at it again, before and after. Pretty great work, before and after. And this image is pretty ready for export. So let's go to the second image. Second image, before and after. We're gonna reset this. We're starting from scratch right now. So let's try to focus on a few things that we can clear here. So for example, I want to clear these little areas from here. So I can use a clone tool. The way clone tool works, it's going to copy and clone another area of the image. So I can, if I make this selection, it's going to try to copy this image. And again, I can move it around. Make another selection. I'm happy with this. I You can see it cleaned it perfectly. Again, clone tool is very cool when you're working on skin as well, because it clones the texture of another area. And usually it finds this spot on its own. That is very good. So I'm gonna leave it like that. You can see that if we're very picky, and we'll see this tiny area here, this tiny spot. Sometimes the drawback of generative AI is the wait time, so this is more than enough. Then remove tool. This is also a great tool, so let's use it. Remove tool analyzes the area selected and it tries to intelligently apply the effect. So this is pretty good. I mean, it is a tiny bit messy, so we could try to clean that area. You can actually apply and remove objects on top of the cleared areas. So I'm happy with this, and I want to clear this so it's a nicer job here. Yeah, it's not the best, right? The sharpness is missing. So let's try for this option. I want to hit Generative AI, and that's gonna review the whole image, and look at that. It cleared it so beautifully, before, after. That's amazing work. So I'm pretty happy with this. Again, these are tiny little details that I can even crop this out. But for now, I'm just gonna use the remove tool, and I'm not gonna use the Generative AI. Perfect. So we've cleared that with a simple remove tool. Now all these little areas here, let me show you how cool. Let me show you how quickly you can select these with Generative AI and make absolutely quick job here. So I'm adding all these. I want to remove all these essentially. I'm not too worried about selection. Again, the AI should do the job. I'm going to apply this. Because of the multiple selections from different areas of the image, that process will take a little bit more. So it took around 30 seconds, but look at this. So everything is cleared very nicely. I don't know where the original areas of change were. That's how good it is. Perfect. So I'm pretty happy with this. And let's go before and after. Awesome. I still want to clear all these lights here because they are quite messy. Again, this is quite a complex pattern to clear for a standard remove. Let's see how the standard remove does it for us. It's honestly not too bad. Pretty happy with this. Let's see if we can work on that area here. I'm gonna continue. Not too bad. Maybe a little bit of here. Okay, we're gonna move to this one. This is much bigger. Let's see if we select two at the time, how that works for us. Yeah, this is much more difficult, but we got something, so we may be able to make a selection and just clear this area here. Not too bad, and I can try to use Generative AI to see how that changes. Yeah. Yeah, it's not great because we have two selections here, so let's remove this. Let's try again with Generative AI. Just put this. Perfect, let's apply. And look at this. This is amazing. So it's also better to make smaller selections with Generative AI and just let it quickly run through the process. It usually takes between 5 to 10 seconds to do that. I'm pretty happy with this. And the last one, I believe. Awesome. There's more here, so I'm just going to quickly clear those. Yep, I'm pretty happy with this. So let's look at before and after. Amazing change. If we zoom in, this is before, after, much cleaner, and you can't really tell where the edits were made. Amazing. So now what do we do? Let's give it some vibrance. I'm leaning towards something a little bit brighter. Actually, I like this Cerulean Passion, so that's one of my LUTs. So I'm just gonna brighten it up, but pick up some shadows, drop the highlights, just so we have some of that texture from the sky. We can add a little bit of texture for the architecture, tiny bit of dehaze. I also like this guy working on the phone. Tiny bit of vibrance, and I'm happy with this look. It's very cool. Before and after, amazing. Maybe we need to give it a tiny bit of rotation just to straighten it up a notch. Before and after, guys, is pretty awesome. And this is our third shot, before and after. Let's reset this one and let's go through cleaning the skin a little bit. So here I really like to use clone tool. I think clone tool is amazing, again, because it keeps that texture of the face. Essentially, once you select the area, you will need to use the other circle to set the desired area that's going to be cloned. So again, we could play a tiny bit here. These will be small selections, nothing too big. This tool works pretty well. Yeah, maybe here. Actually, the remove tool is also great, so I would, apologies, heal tool. So I would use the heal tool as well in conjunction with the clone tool. So I'm gonna here. It's not much to work on. A tiny bit. Pretty happy with the rest. Beautiful. Just tiny spots, but the rest is great. I'm happy. I don't like those too silky skin. Just tiny bumps, I'm okay with that, but any kind of additional is just too unnatural looking. That's it. I'm happy with all these, and this took me maybe, what, half a minute before and after. Quick cleaning. Maybe that drop on the nose here didn't really work for us, so let me just fix this. Yeah, I think that's gonna be better. Or I can totally remove it and just put the remove tool. Awesome. Now we're gonna give it a preset, and I want something radiant. I love this. This actually gives this healthy radiant to the skin. It drops a little bit the clarity, so as you can see it, those pores from the skin. So I'm really happy about that. It's pretty bright. I'm happy to drop the brightness tiny bit, recuperate the highlights. We may need to add another layer for the sky and just try to get something out of the sky. So let's grab the highlights. I'm just gonna drop the temperature as well, just to get some blues in there. Let's see with the contrast. I don't really want to play with too much contrast. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So let's look at the before and after. Amazing. I might add a tiny bit of vignette. Awesome. And that image is for the export. So guys, in this video we have touched on 3 major tools to allow us to clean unwanted objects. One is the clone tool, and this tool essentially is copying the pixels from one part of the image to another. This is a great tool for consistent texture and where there is a consistent color. It gives that precise control over the pixels that are getting used. However, it can be tricky when you have a very complex pattern to work with. So that's something to be aware of. Then we have also a heal tool, which is another great tool and very similar to clone tool, but rather than directly copying an area, it blends the sampled area with the surrounding pixels for a more natural look. The heal tool is excellent for skin retouching and removing small distractions, as it seamlessly blends the corrections, as we could see in this image. And then we have this amazing tool, which is the Generative AI remove tool with Generative AI. And this tool takes object removal to a whole new level, as you could see with that car, with that window, with the lamppost. It essentially leverages AI to intelligently fill in the gaps. And the way it works is that it analyzes the entire image to create a seamless removal. It's almost like magic, honestly. The generative AI is amazing for very complex patterns and complex objects that you want to remove. However, the downside is the more processing power and the internet connection that is necessary for this to work. So there you have it, guys. Very powerful tools to make you remove unwanted objects from the images. If you enjoyed some of the presets that I've applied to the images, some of them are for free, so you're more than welcome to jump on my Patreon page. Link is in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. This is always much appreciated. I will talk to you in the next one. Cheers.